Why so many Americans are moving to the Philippines. Have you ever wondered why so many Americans are packing their bags and heading to the Philippines? The reason might surprise you, but before we dive into that, let's take a step back and look at how the Philippines came to be and why its unique geography has played a big role in attracting people from the US. So, what makes the geography of the Philippines so fascinating and a little bit dangerous? Just take a glance at a map. The Philippines has one of the most distinct shapes in the world, almost like someone designed it by hand. It's breathtaking to look at, but this stunning geography also hides some risks. Here's the backstory. Around 50 million years ago, the Philippines looked nothing like it does today. Over time, tectonic plates shifted, breaking up the supercontinent Pangaea and sending chunks of land adrift. One of those chunks eventually became the Philippines, and its landscape has been constantly evolving since then. Unlike most countries, the Philippines' constantly shifting land makes it not only unique, but also incredibly beautiful. Now, let's dive deeper into what makes the Philippines' geography so interesting. First off, it's an archipelago. What's that, you ask? It's basically a collection of islands. And not just a few islands, the Philippines boasts over 7,000 of them. In fact, depending on which source you check, the number varies. Some say 7,641 islands. Others claim 7,640, and some stick with the older figure of 7,107. Here's the deal. Until 2016, the official count was 7,107, but then over 500 new islands were discovered, bumping the total to 7,641. Imagine waking up one day and finding out your country has gained 500 new islands. Pretty cool, right? Let's talk size for a moment. The Philippines covers about 300,000 square kilometers. To put that in perspective, if you were to place it on a map of Europe, it would be larger than countries like the United Kingdom and Ireland combined. Even compared to South Korea, the Philippines is massive. While it may seem small on the map, it's actually quite large compared to many other nations. Being an archipelago definitely has its advantages, but it also comes with its fair share of challenges. Stay tuned to find out more about how this country's geography has influenced the movement of Americans to the Philippines. Before diving into the challenges, let's take a moment to appreciate the bright side. Imagine this, the Philippines is home to over 7,000 islands. That's thousands of stunning beaches, each offering its own little paradise waiting to be explored. It's no surprise that tourism is such a huge deal here. In 2023 alone, tourism raked in an astounding 480 billion pesos. Still with me? Good, because there's more. That same year, more than 5.4 million international visitors flocked to the Philippines. And why wouldn't they? The coastlines here are a dream, offering every type of beach experience you could imagine. Boracay, the crown jewel, is one of the most famous beaches, not just in the Philippines, but around the world. But here's the thing, Boracay is just one of many. There are countless hidden beaches across this archipelago, many of them still untouched by crowds. But it's not just about the beaches. The Philippines is also a biodiversity haven. And when I say that, I mean it. Picture over 52,000 species of plants and animals, half of which you won't find anywhere else on the planet. That's right, half of these species are endemic to the Philippines, making it a goldmine for biodiversity research and discovery. Just take mammals, for example. The Philippines is home to around 200 species, and 100 of them are endemic. One of the most fascinating creatures here is the Philippine tarsier. These tiny primates, with their wide eyes, are found only in the Philippines, although tarsiers can also be spotted in Indonesia and Borneo. And birds? The country has around 600 species, with 200 that you can only see here. Let's talk reptiles. Over 350 species and 150 are unique to the Philippines. Amphibians? They've got 110 species, and 80 of those are only found here. And don't even get me started on the marine life. The Philippines boasts over 500 species of coral reefs and more than 2,000 fish species in its waters. So, what makes this biodiversity so incredibly rich? It all comes down to the country's unique geography. Being a tropical nation made up of isolated islands has created the perfect environment for a wide variety of plants and animals to thrive. Many of these islands remain pristine, untouched by human hands, allowing nature to flourish in its purest form. Thousands of years ago, the Philippines was blanketed in dense rainforests, setting the stage for the incredible variety of plant and animal life that we see today. So, the Philippines isn't just a tropical getaway for tourists. It plays a major role in global biodiversity research. Thanks to its unique geography and natural heritage, new species are still being discovered. But that's only one side of the story. If the lush forests and rich ecosystems bring hope and beauty, the flip side of the Philippines' geography brings danger and constant challenges to those living here. You see, this country is highly prone to natural disasters, and it's something Filipinos expect. Typhoons? They're almost like regular guests that come around every year. Here's where things get real. It's not just the occasional typhoon. On average, the Philippines gets hit by at least 20 of them every single year. And about 5 of those are severe, sometimes even super typhoons. Imagine living in a house where you know that every year, 20 storms will come and try to wreck it. It's part of life here. Sounds crazy, right? But that's the norm. Over time, the people of the Philippines have learned to adapt, facing these disasters head-on, with more preparedness each year. But why does this country seem to be on the path of destruction when it comes to natural disasters? The answer lies in its location, right within the Pacific Ring of Fire. Take a look at the map, and you'll see exactly why. The Pacific Ring of Fire, also called the Circum-Pacific Belt, is a zone along the Pacific Ocean known for its active volcanoes and frequent earthquakes. It's the reason why the Philippines experiences so many earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Living here means being at the mercy of nature's most powerful forces. Typhoons. What's their deal with the Pacific Ring of Fire? Well, let's break it down without getting too deep into the science. The Ring of Fire is packed with volcanoes, which keeps the area hot or at least warm. And this warmth plays a big role in the formation of typhoons and cyclones. That's why countries like the Philippines, which sit in this zone, are constantly on the path of natural disasters. Typhoons love warm waters, and the ocean around the Ring of Fire is exactly that. So, the Philippines is always going to be a magnet for typhoons as long as the Pacific Ring of Fire is around. But here's the kicker. Typhoons aren't even the only thing people here have to deal with. Volcanic eruptions and earthquakes are also part of life in the Philippines, thanks to the Pacific Ring of Fire. To put it into perspective, the country has nearly 300 volcanoes, and 24 of those are active. That means they've erupted in the past, and might do so again. In fact, over the past 400 years, there have been 44 significant eruptions. Significant meaning they really shook things up and caused serious fear across the nation. And then there's the earthquakes. The Philippines experiences thousands of quakes each year. Most of them are so minor that people don't even feel them. But the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, PHIVOLCS, keeps a close watch. Their data shows that the country averages over 20,000 earthquakes annually. Of course, only a handful of those are strong enough to be noticed or cause real damage. For countries in the Pacific Ring of Fire, earthquakes are just part of everyday life. In the Philippines, dealing with these natural disasters is the norm, but Filipinos are resilient. They've figured out how to keep going, even with the threat of typhoons every year. Many have learned to build houses that can withstand typhoons. But here's the reality. Strong, disaster-proof homes don't come cheap, and not everyone can afford them. Even though the country expects about 20 typhoons a year, many Filipinos simply don't have the means to fully protect their homes. But despite all these challenges, Filipinos are deeply grateful for the natural beauty and the opportunities their geography offers. At the end of the day, the blessings of their land outweigh the hardships.